Safety represents a crucial factor that affects all components of the maritime industry. The safety of modern maritime and shipping is as a result of a set of initiatives, research, regulations, and innovations. Despite great breakthroughs in technology, the marine industry is still a relatively dangerous place to work, as the surge in economic activities on our waterways brought with it security challenges like piracy, kidnapping, robbery, vandalism, and more, which has had colossal socio-economic consequences to the nation's economy. Welcome, it's great to have you join us on today's edition of Maritime Update, where we bring to you every week activities in the maritime industry. I am Norma Obiaswalo. As a result of a high cost of shipping caused by the insecurity on our waters, consumers tend to bear the brunt of high cost of commodities, and shippers have embraced reduction on operation costs at the expense of safety to stay in business. Insufficient manning loads to increase scope of work and subsequently fatigue and sleep deprivation of seafarers, who are consequently less productive and more prone to accidents and injuries. Another issue arising from cutting operational costs is connected with hiring cheaper workforce from the countries which are unable to implement the adopted international standards in the professional education and training of seafarers. Global public awareness must be raised, and factors that jeopardize the safety of modern navigation should be analyzed so that adequate measures can be taken across the maritime community in order to minimize the factors that put the safety of maritime shipping and safety of navigation at risk. In this episode, we will be focusing on maritime safety and security, as the world is facing more maritime security problems than ever before. First, let's look at the issues and developments that made news in the sector. Stay with us. Shippers urge NPA to simplify call-up system for containers. 31 countries to participate in the Obangame Express, which is aimed at ensuring maritime safety. Welcome to Maritime News. The President Shippers Association Lagos State, Jonathan Nicol, has urged the Nigerian Port Authority (NPA) to simplify the call-up system of returning overtime containers into the ports. He alleged that some transporters in Lagos paid between 20,000 and 30,000 naira for 1 unit of 20-feet container in an off-dock terminal, and between 40,000 and 45,000 naira for 1 unit of 40-feet container. Nicole lamented that the huge cost of offloading empty container is responsible for the trucks on the streets and major highways, as he urged the Nigerian Port Authority (NPA) to look into the issue of huge payment being charged by operators of the holding bays and ensure payment issues are streamlined properly and quality service delivered for money paid. The Nigerian Navy in Lagos says 31 countries will be participating in the multinational sea exercise codenamed Obangame Express, aimed at promoting regional cooperation among navies of Gulf of Guinea. The exercise Obangame Express, which was first held in 2010, is an annual multi-phase exercise sponsored by the United States Naval Force Africa. The aim of the exercise, which is slated for March the 10th to the 22nd, is to promote the importance of regional cooperation between all the navies of Gulf of Guinea. It will also improve maritime domain awareness, information sharing, and enhance the collective capabilities of the GOG and West African nations to counter illegalities in the maritime domain. The Managing Director of the Nigerian Port Authority (NPA), Hadiza Bala Usman, has commissioned a new crèche for nursing mothers that work at the Lagos Port Complex LPC Apapa. The facility, which is the first of its kind in any Nigerian port, the LPC port manager Hajia Aisha Ali Ibrahim said the commission was timed to coincide with the 2019 International Women's Day celebration to help support mothers in balancing their home and career for better performance in the workplace. The APC manager said there is no better time to establish the first crèche in Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA) than the time of the first female managing director, Hadiza Bala Usman, a visionary leader in its over 100 years of existence. There is also no better time than when my humble self, a gender activist, is port manager at the Premier Port. The reason is to balance the lives of our young mothers who may need to keep their children to be able to concentrate on their jobs and perform optimally. And that's Maritime News. Maritime Update continues shortly. Stay with us. If you have just joined us, this is Maritime Update reaching you courtesy of the Nigerian Shippers Council. For details, please reach the Nigerian Shippers Council on our email, website, or better still, text the number showing on your screen. Now to the guest of the week. She is Margaret Orakwusi, a woman with many portfolios who have made her mark in the maritime industry. A lawyer, chairman Ship Owners Forum, chairman Nigerian Association of Chambers, Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, NASIMA. In this chart, share on maritime safety and security. Stay with us. The surge in economic activities on our waterways brought with it increased security challenges. What do you think we can do to ensure safety and security on our waterways?
The two things, safety and security, are always mixed up in the country. When it comes to safety, I believe we can do a lot. And we just have to do that. Because you're then talking about the lives of people. It could be the small canoe man, it could be the speedboat, it could be the ships. So we should forever be ready to provide safety. And again, if the country, as large as our coastal waters is, we do not have ambulance crafts that could go out to help people in distress. And that's amazing. We are not well equipped to go and rescue people who are drowning. And it's amazing. You remember, we all watched it in the news when an aircraft fell into the water in New York. You remember how the Coast Guard just rushed and they were able to remove everybody. Now you close your eyes and just wonder, God forbid, that happens in Nigeria. We have nothing. And when we talk about water transportation, we need to make people to feel comfortable using that system. Okay. How then do we make them to feel comfortable? You have to provide safety. There must be safety. There must be security too. People would have to have some element of confidence that when they move from point 1, they can get to point 2. There must be insurance. Are the crafts insured? Okay. These are the things that we just need to talk. It's not enough to talk about safety or to talk, okay, let's increase water transportation. By the way, that will help in decongesting the roads. Okay. We must tap into other systems of transportation, the railway and the water transportation. But it also comes with huge responsibility so that people would feel...
On the part of we citizens or the government?
Both.
Okay.
You see, there must be good platforms. There must be jetties. There must be avenues created for people to go into the vessel, into the boats, and come out. The issue of safety must be applied, and these are things that I believe are necessary infrastructure that must be provided by the government. Then you and I will also have responsibility. If I'm going to go into the business of providing vessels to carry passengers, I have to make sure that those vessels are properly equipped for that purpose. I have to make sure that I have insurance, you know, and then the government, the regulators have to also keep me in check, you know, if lifeguards are meant to be there. So it's an all-round responsibility, and that's how to grow the economy. There is nothing that it should be left exclusively for the government or the private sector.
What do you think we can do to tackle the root causes of piracy?
Again, one aspect of it can easily be tackled, and that's what I call sea robbery. It's not every crime that happens out there that is piracy. Piracy is actually defined when at the point it happens. Is it in the international waters? Is it within such and such distance? What we usually have in the country, we have more of it, is sea robbery, you know. But then, to an investor, they can call it, I call it sea piracy, because these people come in the same shape as the pirates. Okay. They come fully armed, you know, and they are very, very vicious. Some of their activities, they are quite mind-blowing. You know, it's like having the armed robbers you have here, then you add all sorts of negative wickedness to them, and then you plant them out there in the sea. You can imagine when a vessel is under attack and they come in and they push the crew into the ref system, into cold room of between 18 and 20 miners, and they freeze to death or throw them overboard, you know. So why did I say that sea robbery? Because some of the robberies also take place in the ports. You know, they take place just outside the bar. You know, these are areas that can easily be monitored by either the Marine Police or the Navy or the Special Task Force.
Okay.
You know, these are the areas. When it comes to the ones that happen far out there in the sea, it is a problem that concerns everybody in the world, you know, because we are talking about international trade. That's the passage. You know, in Nigeria, you and I, we've made it possible for what we consume in this country to rate high when it comes to imports. We consume over 70%. I'm just being generous because it should be about 80-90% imported goods. And about 90% of those imported goods come in through the waters. So you can begin to see how important the channels are, how important it is to protect maritime transportation.
Because it can also
shipping.
affect our trade facilitation, right?
Of course. Can you imagine if how expensive it is to bring in your goods from Europe? It's because of these pirate attacks. We are being treated as a war zone. Even the insurance, the premium is so high. You know, so it becomes very, very important, not just Nigeria. Most African countries along the channel, you and I, we know what was happening in Liberia, in Libya, and all these very, very dangerous neighborhoods, you know. But to control maritime security is very, very expensive.
So what's the role of the government? Or do you think we have...
There is no government anywhere in Africa that can foot the bill.
So how do we go about it?
How we go about is international relationship.
Okay.
You know,
do you think we are doing enough of that?
I don't think so. Otherwise, it won't be on the increase. You know, I really don't think so. And we do not have the capacity to do that. You know, we can, it's so expensive, we have to. There was a time, some navies of the world, a lot of people monitor the maritime routes. And that's the only way it's going to work. You know, and we are being affected because we are a maritime nation. We rely more in goods, imported goods. You and I, we like everything foreign, which we have to let that change. And then our source of revenue as a nation is oil. How do you transport your crude?
If we have challenges on the waters.
Yeah. So it is very, very important, and that's why we have to continue. And apart from that, you also have people coming into our waters and poaching on our resources. You know, like I'm also into trawling. You have all these big vessels that come from Europe, Asia, you name it. They come, they are big, unchallenged. They sweep from bottom to top. That is stealing. They poach in our waters unchallenged, and then they go. Yet, as a Nigerian, with a Nigerian flag on my vessel, I dare not go to any African country. I'm not talking about Europe, without a fishing license. I have no business in their waters. But these people come here, do their business, and get away.
So whose role is that to curb this?
It's everybody's role.
Okay.
Like I've told you, when we talk about sea piracy, I always remind them to put the poaching. Because the Europeans, all these other big countries, they have criminals too that come into our waters and steal our resources, which run into billions of dollars annually. And that's not the problem. The problem is that they fish in a most irresponsible, irregular, undocumented manner. And when we speak abroad, it's simple. When we lay these accusations on the table and we ask them, for me to sell a packet of my products anywhere in Europe, that product must be traceable to the fishing ground. I must have complied to all international standards, very well labeled. Okay? So how come that there is markets in Europe for our stolen products, for the poachers? You know, so it's conspiracy as far as I am concerned. So we keep talking because this is a problem that is common to we Africans. I remember sometime in Tanzania I spoke on this, and a member of the panel actually called my attention. He said, you people are lucky in Nigeria that in their own waters these people use dynamite. You know, so it's not a problem peculiar to Nigeria. So, and it's not a localized problem. It's an international problem. And the more we talk about it, the more we put it on the table for EU, for UN, and every other person to discuss it, the better for us. And we are all doing that. Yeah.
What do you think is the potential worth of the maritime sector? Because, you know, I think it's an alternative to oil. So what's the potential worth? Maybe if we know the worth, we'll be able to appreciate what we have and do something about it.
Yes, I think we are getting there. Those of us in maritime, we are exposing all the opportunities we have in the maritime sector to attract more investors to come in. Shipping is number one. You know, we play big in the oil sector. Okay, so do we have to offer the world our crude without adding value? That's a big question. You know, so we are trying to expose all the potentials in this sector. The country is selling the crude FOB. So we would want to see a reversal of that trade policy. It does not favor anybody. It's just like selling raw material. We must add value to create employment, because when you keep selling FOB, you are losing in the freight. You control the cargo. It's our cargo. And then we have no say the way and manner that cargo leaves Nigeria. We just sell it FOB. What happens to the freight? What happens to the growth of shipping industry in the country? What happens to insurance? What happens to banking? You know, it's just like throwing a stone or a pebble in the water and you watch it spreading out, spreading out. So we are we always call attention to that. That alone, if we are able to capture at least reversing the trade policy, we create massive employment. Creation of employment happens to be my passion. The population is growing, you know, and if you look at the demographics, you will just see that between probably 16 to 28 years, you just look at it, it's alarming. Children, you know, most of them, they have gone to school. Some are no longer interested in going to school because they celebrate people that they shouldn't celebrate, you know. But that age is a critical age. It's age of innovation. It's age where our children want to show. They want to show you that they think smarter than you, they are better than you. Technology is there to help them. You know, so we need to engage them. That's why we need to create this employment. You know, government, how many people can government accommodate? You know, so we need to be productive. And that's why I would like to see a reversal. You know, let's grow shipping. We have a lot of universities offering courses in the maritime. Who is going to employ them?
That brings me to the question of export.
Yeah.
What strategic plans or policies do you want to see in place that will help ensure that that export is brought to the boarding light?
You know, when you are in the international market, you face competition. There are no cutting corners. You know what we do here? You can be able to pass on rotten beans, for instance, to you, maize to you. You can't do that when it comes to international trade. So first and foremost, you ask yourself, what is within my powers to do? It's within your powers to ensure that what you present in the market, even if it's local market to sell, is of good quality, is of the best standard.
Well, it's been fine talking with you. If you offer good product, people will come looking for you. Yeah. It's been Margaret Orakusi. She is the chairman, Ship Owners Forum, and chairman, Nasima Trade Group. Many thanks for coming on Maritime Update.
Thank you.
To join our interactive segment, Send your questions, comments, complaints, observations to maritimeupdate@yahoo.com with your name and location. We implore you to keep them simple and civil so we can read them. And that's our package on this week's edition of Maritime Update. I must thank you most kindly for being a part of this week's edition. Please remember to send your comments, complaints, and observations on our email or the number showing on your screen. This show promises to bring you yet another exciting package next week. For more details, you can also contact the Nigerian Shippers Council on our website or text the number on your screen. You can view this episode or any of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel, Maritime Update. When you visit, please subscribe for free and also click the notification button. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Until I come your way again same time next week, goodbye.